What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to have a quick chat about this itty bitty tiny little flashlight from Nitecore. It is called the TINI 2, which I think is a very fitting name for this. Now we're looking at this flashlight because one of my Patreon supporters told me to take a look at it, and I do anything my Patreon supporters tell me to do. Obviously, this little tiny light is a keychain type light. It has a rechargeable battery, and believe it or not, out of this tiny little light, Nitecore is pumping up to 500 lumens and 2,000 candela, which I think is just silly out of such a very small light. As far as the controls are very simple. There's a button on the bottom that turns the light on and off with the press, and then the top button is going to be the mode, and that's going to circle through all the different brightness settings. There's 5 different brightness settings. So it goes 1 lumen, then it goes 15, 65, 200, and at any brightness setting, if you press and hold that top mode button, that will go into the ultra super duper 500 lumen setting, but that's only momentary for as long as you hold that button. Every other setting is going to be constant. And of course there's a memory, so whatever mode you turn the light off on, that's what the same brightness level it will turn back on. Now as far as runtime is going to be up to 60 hours. So depending, obviously, the brighter the light, the lower the runtime is going to be. So it's at up to 60 hours at the lowest setting, and I'll put this chart up here on the screen so you can see exactly how long it will run based on what brightness setting you're at. The light has 2 different modes as well, and I want to briefly touch on this. It has a demo mode and a daily mode. So the demo mode is going to be for more EDC close up, and the daily mode is going to be for more outdoor further distance. So the light just shines a little further when you put it on the daily mode, and we'll take a look at that in just a second when we do the beam comparison. But if you press and hold both buttons, the light's going to flash, and on the little screen here it's going to tell you demo mode or daily mode, and that's how you switch back and forth. Very easy to do that. Alright, before we step outside and look at the beam, because it's pretty impressive for such a small little tiny light, let me quickly thank Nitecore, biggest supporter of my channel, so I always like to thank them. They have a ton of different flashlights. No Nitecore, but they have a ton of different flashlights, hunting, camping, fishing, all that good stuff. So thank you to Nitecore. The shirt, of course, is from TriStar. Make tar and feathers great again. Fitting shirt for around election time. The link to both of them is down below if you want to check out either one of them. Now, done paying my bills. Let's go outside, take a look at the beam comparison, and I'll be right back. Alright, starting off with 1 lumen, I can definitely see the light, but the camera does not pick it up. Now we're up to 15 lumens, and the camera starts to pick stuff up, especially if I go down on the grass. 65 lumens is pretty good. Here's the 200. Now that's a big difference, and then the 500. Like, so much light for such a small flashlight. I switched it over to the demo unit, and there's definitely less candela. The light doesn't seem quite as bright. There's the 1 lumen. This is the 15 lumen, and again, you can start to see it. 65 lumens, 200, and then the 500. So definitely, I don't think it's quite as bright. Pretty good beam for such a small light. Alright, the screen on here that I mentioned earlier, when you turn the light on, the first thing it's going to say is how many lumens that setting is on, and then a second later it will switch to battery life. So 1 lumen right now, 54 minutes, 15 lumens, 7 minutes, etc. The recharger, I'm happy to say it's USB-C. I was kind of worried about that when I first looked at this light, thinking such a small light, maybe it won't have USB-C, but everything should be USB-C now, no more micro USB. That's faster, and all my other devices take it, so that's what I prefer. It does come with a little keychain loop, so you can hook it on your keys or a belt buckle, or hook it on a bunch of different things if you want to. There is 2 different lockout modes. There's a half lockout and a full. The half lockout is going to disable the constant on brightness settings, but still allow you to hold the mode button for the 500 momentary, and then there's a full lockout where the light's not going to work at all. I'll put it up here on the screen how to get it in and out of lockup mode. It's also in the manual. You can read it if you want. I'm not going to bore you. The body on this particular one is aluminum. The keychain ring part is steel. There's several different options available. There's black, there's gray, there's stainless, there's titanium, there's copper. Those premium ones cost a little bit more. As far as this one, $39.95. It's a pretty good deal for such a, I know it's small, but it's a very bright light. As always, I'll put some links down below. Hopefully I could find you a good deal. Now, let's talk about the testing real quick before you get out of here. So obviously the first thing I did when I got it, besides playing with all the buttons and the modes and bringing it outside at night and seeing how bright it is, I hooked it to my keys when the first thing I got it so I could use it as that EDC light in a pinch. Great timing now that daylight savings came and it gets dark so early. The example I always use is, hey, you drop your keys, you need to find something at night. Every night I go and check on my chickens. Just when I let the dogs out at night, I also check on the chickens. And this is a great little small light for that because I don't want to blind them with 2,000 lumens or anything crazy. So that 1 or 15 lumens is perfect for that. The other thing I did, just besides the normal EDC type use for the past couple weeks, is I hooked this to my son's Halloween costume. He had this great big Garfield inflatable costume, which was awesome, but it was very difficult for him to see. So just as a little extra security, I hooked this to the back of his costume, gave it a little bit extra light, just to help make sure people saw him and he saw everything. And so based on that use for the past couple weeks, the biggest pro for me is going to be the lumens, the candela, and the runtime you get from such a small light. I remember just very recently, a year or two ago, these small keychain lights, you were getting less than 100 lumens. Now this has up to 500 lumens, and that's just crazy. I have such a small light. Very simple controls, easy to use. I figured out the controls without having to break out the manual, and that's important for me. And then what's the other thing I had? Oh, affordable. What you get for the money. With everything Nitecore makes, you're going to get a high value, very affordable light. The only thing I would probably change or add, I would love that them on these two little screws back here have the option of adding a little belt clip. So I could not really put it in my pocket, but slide it on my hat. So you could use this as a headlamp. It's so small, so light and bright. It would be perfect as a headlamp, flat tire, whatever. You need two hands to do something and slide it on the hat in a pinch and use it as a headlamp. I think that would be pretty dope. But overall, it's a neat, funky little light. I think they did a good job designing it. Again, very bright for such a small light. I wouldn't personally use this as my main light. I know lots of people would. I like to have a very large tactical flashlight in my pocket, but this is a great secondary EDC non-tactical type light. Perfect for that. Once again, there's links down below. Thank you to Nitecore for supporting this channel and sending out cool little products for me to review. I appreciate it. Thanks to Natchez for being the biggest supporter. Thanks to TriStar for making the coolest, softest, sexiest t-shirts in the game. The links to all three are down below. But more important than any of that, thank you, boys and girls, for watching. It is truly appreciated. If you think I deserve it, even if you don't think I deserve it, Santa says, subscribe to this channel or you're getting nothing for Christmas. That's just what he said. I can't help you. If you think I deserve it, click the subscribe button. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Stay blessed. Be good. Peace.